UFC 311 and the first pay-per-view of 2025 is in the books, with the UFC travelling to LA with a stacked card to kick off the year with a double-header of title fights, with the arguable pound-for-pound king Islam Makhachev defending his title against short-notice title replacement Renato Moicano, and teammate of Islam Makhachev Umar Nurmagomedov looking to dethrone Merab Dvalishvili, amongst a stacked card full of fun fights. Could UFC 311 deliver on the hype? Let's find out. This is the Fight franchise and the recap and review of UFC 311. The first fight of the night saw Tagir Ulanbekov taking on Clayton Carpenter, where both men squared off, where Ulanbekov used his grappling to win quite an easy decision, which wasn't the best action to start the card. The next fight on the card, Ricky Tercios took on Bernardo Sapaj, where they squared off in a striking battle where as the fight went on, Sapaj got better, with Sapaj doing good work with his kicks, where the fight went all 3 rounds with Sapaj winning a decision. A bantamweight bout next where Muin Gafarov squared off against Rinya Nakamura, where across a 3-round fight, Gafarov was the much busier fighter and just did the better work to win a relatively comfortable decision. The final fight of the prelims, Karol Rosa took on Ailin Perez, where in the first 2 rounds Perez did the better work with a mix of striking and grappling, and in round 3 Rosa fighting back a little too late with Perez winning the decision. Unfortunately, the early prelims just didn't deliver no amazing action or highlights. The prelims began with a lightweight bout between Grant Dawson and Diego Ferreira, where across a 3-round fight Dawson used his superior grappling and strength to bully Ferreira on the ground while landing ground and pound with minimal moments of success for Ferreira, outside some upkicks and submission attempts, where Dawson comfortably won a decision. Bogdan Guskov took on short notice Billy Elakana, where Elakana got the early takedown and got the back of Guskov, threatening with a rear naked choke, which was looking like could be a huge upset. However, with a few seconds left in the first round, Guskov got Elakana's back and landed ground and pound and got the choke, but the bell had rung. The second round, Guskov pressured a tired Elakana, where he would land some brutal body shots which slumped Elakana, where he would secure the guillotine to get the first finish of the card. This was followed with Azmat Bikoev in his debut taking on Zach Reese, where Bikoev got the takedown early where he would be smothering Reese, who was trying offense from the bottom with no success, where Bikoev landed a flurry of ground and pound which put Reese's lights out in what was a vicious and fast ground and pound KO, and a great way to start his UFC career. The hyped and undefeated Peyton Tabut was taking on Raoni Barcelos, where Barcelos was a huge underdog. Barcelos would dominate the hyped Talbot with his grappling and wrestling, using it effectively to stifle Talbot's game plan, where after any moments of offense for Talbot on the feet was swiftly met with Barcelos getting a takedown. A dominant victory for Barcelos, who stops the hype train of Talbot, who has to go back to the drawing board. That brought the end to some good prelims. The main card began with a middleweight bout between Kevin Holland taking on Rainier Derrida, where both men squared off, where Derrida was not wasting time, getting an instant takedown, smothering and dominating Holland on the ground, where eventually Derrida got the back of Holland and secured the rear naked choke to get the quick win. A huge win for Derrida, who is calling out a top 5 guy, which does seem a bit soon for him, as I think he has a lot of work to grow and get better, but maybe like Alex Pereira, he sees a quick rise for himself atop the middleweight division. The heavyweights were up next with Jailton Almeida taking on Sergey Spivak, where early Spivak would get the takedown where he looked to establish control, where Almeida midway into the round would get a brilliant reverser to establish his own control and would look to get Spivak's back, where Spivak reversed the position and where Almeida eventually found his way to his feet. Almeida would rock Spivak and would get into mount and would land huge ground and pound, flattening out Spivak to secure the brilliant TKO. Almeida called out Cyril Gane after the fight, which was a smart call out. Just will the Frenchman take the fight? The next bout was a hyped bout in the light heavyweight division, with Jamal Hill taking on Yuri Prohaska in a hype bout to find out who could get back in title contention, with both men coming off losses versus Alex Pereira. The two squared off in an epic bout on the feet, trading huge shots, with Yuri the much more elusive, with a measured approach from Hill, who abandoned his great body kick. Yuri would do the better work in round 1 with his crazy striking and would even drop Hill, who survived the round. Round 2 was much more competitive, with Hill timing Yuri and even landing some good body shots and having success in the clinch. With it 1-1 going into the final round, it was a back and forth striking battle until a huge shot dropped Hill, where he survived the onslaught that Yuri was putting on, only to be dropped again where Yuri got the ground and pound and the ref stepped in. An amazing fight where both guys put on an epic show for the fans. Yuri is asking for a title shot, which is hard to justify versus Pereira, but we will see what happens for him. As for Hill, it was a great fight where he put it all on the line, but it's back to the drawing board for him. The co-main event would see the hugely talented Umar Nurmagomedov following in his teammates Khabib and Islam's path, trying to become undisputed champion versus Merab Dvalishvili. Both men squared off where Merab was pressuring early, where Umar was using his distance brilliantly to land huge shots and stuff takedowns of Merab to win round 1. Round 2 was more of the same, where more distance management and landing the more significant shots, Umar would also win round 2. Round 3 was interesting and the fight would shift in the favour to Merab as Umar was becoming fatigued, where Merab won round 3 and began landing takedowns, and round 4 Merab becoming more dominant and Umar was visibly gassed and his shots didn't have the same impact. The 5th round was competitive, but Merab was the fresher of the two guys, where he eventually wore down Umar and broke him towards the end of the round to steal the final round, where Merab would win a decision against the hugely hyped and talented Umar Nurmagomedov in a fight which was crazy as he won using his cardio, drowning a talented Umar. A great fight and entertaining back and forth, which was a high level MMA contest, and I wouldn't be surprised if these two square off again in the future. The final fight of the night saw Islam Makhachev taking on short notice Renato Moicano, as Islam's original opponent Arman Tsarukyan pulled out due to a back injury on weigh-in day, with Moicano screaming he can't afford to lose, and with Islam Makhachev a huge favourite, the two squared off where Makhachev would trade with Moicano, with both guys trading where after a slip from Makhachev after pressure from Moicano, Makhachev would get the takedown and look to control, where Moicano would try his best to work his way up, where as he was getting up, Makhachev saw the neck and cinched up the Darce choke to make quick work of Renato Moicano, who was on a great win streak but was no match for Islam Makhachev. A brilliant win, and early in the year, let's hope we see Islam again in the summer, as this is a fantastic opportunity to get 3 fights in the year and an opportunity to beat Anderson Silva's 16 fight win streak in the UFC. As for Moicano, it was probably the only chance at a title shot. He'll be disappointed with how it turned out, but will 100% learn from this and get better, and he allegedly got paid a nice amount, so Moicano did get money. That brought the end to an interesting card. The early prelims were nothing special and didn't deliver much entertainment. The prelims had 2 finishes which was good, especially the brutal KO from Asmat Bekhiov, and we did see Peyton Talbot lose his own and see his hype train stop for now. But the main card is where this pay-per-view shined, with 4 of the 5 fights being finishes. We got some amazing moments with Derrida getting a quick submission and Jailton Almeida with a quick KO. Yuri vs Hill was a fun scrap and got a brilliant finish, and the co-main event was an epic high-level MMA chess match between 2 brilliant bantamweights, and the main event saw the arguable pound-for-pound king show why he is the best in the world and making easy work of Moicano. If we was to grade this card, it gets a C+. A very strong main card helps boost the score of this card, as well as the arena, which was great, delivering an epic backdrop and visuals throughout the fight and using cool smoke machines effects throughout the night, which elevated the viewing and the atmosphere. Up next, off to Australia to see a rematch between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis, and finally see if Tatiana Suarez can achieve the hype and become a champion. Did you enjoy the video? Let us know down in the comments below. What did you think of UFC 311 and how would you grade it as a pay-per-view? Put your thoughts down in the comments below. And do you think Islam Makhachev is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world? Put that down in the comments below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video and subscribe for more MMA and fight content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video and we'll catch you in the next one.